Hey, so my name is Rebecca and I'm new to YouTube, obviously, as you can tell. This is possibly the worst place I could have chosen to film, but it's the only place where the lighting is not like overbearing, so you just get me standing in a weird angle, if that's alright. For my first YouTube video, I was going to do the book newbie tag, but I decided that there was something I wanted to speak about more, and that was the discussion of outgrowing young adult books, which I think is really, really interesting, a really interesting concept. And I just wanted to give my 2 cents on it. It was WhittyNovels that I first saw, did the first video I saw that was saying about outgrowing YA and how she was moving on to literary fiction, which is something I really identify with, and I think that's pretty much what I'm doing at the moment. But when thinking about it and thinking about what it meant to outgrow YA, I kind of came to the conclusion that it's kind of impossible to do that. And the reason that is because it would be unfair to say that there are not some crossovers with YA and literary fiction. I mean, literary fiction, it's also known as like serious fiction, is essentially defined by something that kind of reflects humanity, or it speaks about like political systems and stuff like that. It's kind of more hard hitting books. And what I'd say is, yeah, I completely agree with the fact that I feel like I've read so many mediocre YA books recently. I feel like there's a lot of things that haven't shocked me, and I feel like I'm reading carbon copies of the same story. But I don't think that reflects YA as a genre. I think it just affects this period of time in YA, because obviously the success of The Hunger Games and Divergent, a lot of dystopian books are the ones that people think are going to sell, so they create carbon copies of The Hunger Games and Divergent. And that is hard. But I also feel like there's I kind of read like 60-40 YA and literary fiction. So I read like 60% literary YA and 40% literary fiction. And that's been kind of working for me, because it's, I don't know, someone's just started hoovering in the house and it's really weird. I haven't really gotten used to like filming yet, so yeah. But yeah, so I say I'd read like 60% YA, 40% literary fiction. Out of the books I've read in the past few months, I've probably read a bit more YA. But I have read my fair share of literary fiction. I've read some books that I really, really enjoyed, books like The Goldfinch. But also I wanted to say that there are some literary fiction books that didn't really hit me as hard as I thought they would, and some YA books that were absolutely outstanding. And I think in terms of serious fiction and the idea of literary fiction and teaching you something about humanity having a deeper meaning, I've just finished the Raven Cycle kind of quartet, and what those series of books taught me about love and the kind of integral part of humanity, I thought was so kind of like poignant and so important. So that was what kind of shook me up a little bit when I initially thought that I'd kind of outgrown YA, that it wasn't something I wanted to read anymore. And I think it's maybe a problem in terms of like splitting up the genres, and that they shouldn't be so black and white. Like YA shouldn't be such a different like thing as literary fiction. They should kind of intertwine, because they normally do. There's a lot of YA books that tackle a lot of aspects of humanity, and even if they don't do it that well, there's obviously an abundance of literary fiction that doesn't do that well in what it's trying to do, and it's just a preference thing. But I don't know, I think it's hard because you want to label yourself in a genre. I want to know what I read, but I've kind of come to the conclusion that it's not the most important thing, and that by kind of boxing yourself in and saying like it's this big standpoint, I'm moving from one genre to the next, I think is quite kind of like, it's a shame, because I feel like you're missing out on a lot of books. Like I feel like if I said I'm never going to read YA again, I'd be missing out on a bunch of books, a bunch of good books. And even if I have been disappointed with YA, and I do think it's mediocre, I just think I'm going to kind of like be better at, well, my hair's all weird, and be better at kind of researching and seeing, and kind of not just buying, like the WhittyNovel says, not kind of buying books YA books blind, and just kind of thinking about my choices more. And it's easier with literary fiction, I think, because I normally buy a lot of my literary fiction from the charity shop, so it's kind of easy just to be like, yeah, just to kind of pick it up and oh, I'll give this a go. And I think it's a shame that there's a kind of perceived hierarchy, and not that I think like anyone in the video has tried to make that hierarchy, but I think in like the wider society there's a hierarchy of books, and kind of if you're reading young adult and you should have outgrown it, it's like a shame thing, and I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that a lot of people that do shame young adult books because they don't think they're of like a high enough level should really read some, and I think that they can be surprised. I don't know if this video actually has like much of a point. It's just to say that I don't think that genres should be so black and white. I think that you should be able to spend your life crisscrossing through genres. You shouldn't have to choose one and stick to it. And I think that's the beauty of literature, that's the beauty of reading, is that you can find anything. Any mood you're in, you can find a book for. And maybe it is the fact that when I want something more simplistic, more like less hard hitting, I go to YA. But also if I want to know something about humanity and something about political systems or stuff like that, I can still go to YA. It doesn't close me off from it. It just, YA now, the kind of period we're at with it, it seems harder to find, which is possibly a problem with the writers, possibly a problem with the publishers, possibly a problem with the genre as a whole, but I don't think it's irretrievable, and I don't think it can't be brought back to glory. So yeah, and there's a lot of wonderful YA books in circulation right now, and there's a lot of hard-hitting, really good YA books that are in circulation. I'd personally recommend the Raven Cycle Quartet, simply because I've just finished it, and I love well-rounded characters, and I think that the Raven Cycle does it so well. I think that they're really, really interesting and three-dimensional characters. Likewise, I'd recommend the Goldfinch if you're looking for something kind of coming of age story. Very, very good. And I'd also recommend If Nobody Speaks of Remarkable Things, and they're three books that I've really, really enjoyed. If Nobody Speaks of Remarkable Things by John McGregor, but they're books I've really enjoyed, and still they're from all different genres. So I don't think YA should be written off. I think that if you feel disenchanted with what YA is producing, that's completely understandable. So do I. I think that it's gone downhill, and that's such a shame. But I don't think you should completely write off the genre as a whole, because I feel like it can be good, and when it is good, it is amazing. So yeah, but also literary fiction, love it. I'm just saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and keep your mind completely open to any genre. Go into a bookstore and read a book, like read the back of a book. And I know that's what WhittyNovels was saying she had a bit of a problem with. It was like just buying stuff, and I get that completely, I get that too. But what I've started doing is going into bookstores and just seeing what interests me. So, for example, I saw a book that I'm completely in love with. I can't buy it because I can't afford it. It's very, very expensive. And it's Soviet Space Dogs. And I'm not a particularly big space reader. Well, I do history, but it's not like, I do Russian history, but it's not like, I don't know. I really like the idea of it. I read the blurb and I thought, yeah, I could get behind this. So I think it's important to spend more time researching and more times in bookstores and just finding books, not necessarily finding a genre. So yeah, that's what I thought. It's my first video. It feels a bit weird to do discussion, but anyway, I just thought it would be interesting to do. And yeah, I don't know what's happening with this channel. Yeah, I'm Rebecca and I'm 17 and I'm from Scotland. And yeah, I'm so excited for this, and I can't wait. And I can't wait to be part of a community that I've watched for so long. And yeah, I'm very, very excited. So hopefully this was an okay first video. But yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.